Warning, we are not trained or licensed professionals. Do not take any advice that we give as official doctoral prescribed medical treatment. We only use the name as a means to appreciate cinema as a therapeutic device, not to be confused with drugs, antidepressants, or any other forms of enhancements that you might find in legal states. Please enjoy responsibly.
Additional disclaimer. If the film says we can say it too. So check the film rating, and that will be our episode rating. Yay, happy therapy session.
Welcome to the film therapy, the therapy of film.
Yes. It's a lovely day today.
We have two movies to discuss this week. One of them I'm moderately excited to talk about, and one of them I am very excited to talk about. I don't know how you're feeling, but
I'm feeling very excited, and hopefully I remember everything that we said while we were watching, because it was just a fun time. I'm glad you took notes, because I didn't.
I tried to take extensive notes for the second movie, but the first movie I think I was just... Wait, I don't know who said this, if it was you or I, but like neither of us really remembered a lot of we remembered the basic gist, but there was a lot of things in the first movie that we both forgot. So I took like copious notes for the second movie, but for the first one I was more just waiting and watching. I know that's not what the box is about, but I had to because I forgot the majority of or part of the movie. So.
Me too, because I was thinking about what all the scenes from Agent Cody Banks that I was looking forward to, and I thought some of them were in the first one, but it turns out that most of them were just in the second one. And I was like, okay, I don't really remember anything. But then it all, of course, came back from in the first one. It was so great. So, yes, we're talking about Agent Cody Banks and Agent Cody Banks 2, Destination London. How does that song go? London. Destination London.
So ironically, they were going to use London Calling by The Clash, but couldn't get the rights, so they have Destination London instead. So imagine if the movie was called London Calling. That's not as good.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
London Calling. Yeah, but Destination London is like sounds like the title of the mission. London Calling, because
yeah, that's true. It's more spy-y.
Yeah. I guess that's what I mean.
I can go ahead and recap the first one now. In this 2003 film, directed by Harold Zwart, Cody Banks, played by Frankie Muniz, is a 15-year-old leading two lives. In one of them, he's an average high school boy who can't talk to girls. In the other, he is a secret agent, and he still can't talk to girls. He is put on a mission to infiltrate a scientist's house in order to stop an evil businessman and his henchmen from destroying the world with nanobots. But he must get close to the scientist's daughter, Natalie, played by Hilary Duff, making it a very difficult mission indeed.
The first movie, I definitely liked it more when I was younger, because I thought both movies were about equal. But I still definitely enjoyed watching it, even though it I don't want to say it doesn't hold up, because I think it does. I still think it's a solid movie, but I don't love it as much as I did when I was younger. Yeah,
I would agree. I kind of think that the first one would have benefited from starting like the second one did, where they're at summer camp and then all of a sudden it's like Parents' Day and they have to hide everything from their parents. I just find that funny that the parents don't know that their kids are secret agents. I just love that. Yeah. I forgot about that whole thing.
Yeah.
And that would be so hard to keep a secret like that when you're a kid. And how would you even get, like, if you're the CIA? First of all.
oh God, here we go. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Why are they I guess because kids are like the ultimate undercover. It's like no one would expect a kid to be a CIA agent. But there's also so many things that could go wrong that I don't think the good outweighs the bad for that. I think you could probably get an adult who looks pretty much like a kid, in like 21 Jump Street. They're like older dudes, but they go back to high school.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, like they kind of go undercover like that, rather than having actual teenagers, because I just think they're dumb. They can't keep secrets like that. I don't know. I would find that extremely difficult. Although they didn't really have that many spread across the United States. Like, well, so in the beginning where they pull up their best, I guess it was like their best agents they pulled up on the map, and there was like only 7 of them, maybe. Do you think was that their best agents or was that like their only agents?
Oh, I don't know. I just assumed it was the best agents because they still showed the summer camp as being a thing in the first movie. So I assume that's just there. Because in a year, they wouldn't have found that many probable recruits, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was probably their best ones because
Yeah.
they just popped up with like a few of them. And then the summer camp has a bunch, yeah.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, you could probably manipulate children pretty easily.
Oh, God. Now we're getting unethical.
And be like, if you do this, I'll give you $100.
Or $5,000.
And I'd be like, okay, yeah.
I'd
be like, all right, sure, dude.
I think they buy stuff with it. I mean, I think the trauma alone would be significant, but also like he's 15 and he's Frankie Muniz, so he can handle it.
That's true. Also, I mean, I couldn't even sneak out of my house when I was in high school, so I don't know how he keeps a whole second life.
Some people are just good. Some people just have it.
And also, his parents seem so dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he works with his partner, Ronica Miles.
Well, she's not his partner at first. She's his handler.
She's his handler. Can you do the music?
No, I can play it. I'm not gonna do the song. The fact that they play it twice, it's almost like it becomes her theme for like half the movie. Because every time she opens the door, so like the door opens the first time you see her. Yep. And then when the dad opens the door, the same thing happens. The first time it happened, I think I laughed, and then Maddie was like rolling her eyes. But the second time it happened, I lost it because I'm like, it's her theme now. They play it twice.
Oh my god.
And they're just imagining, like, even in the dramatic moments when she first shows up in a scene, we just hear the song. So like when Cody is like he's like trying to save Natalie from the henchman of the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because they say the word henchman like 10 times.
They literally call him henchman. Yeah.
He's like yeah. They're like, this is the evil doctor and this is his henchman. Anyway, so when he wakes up and then like Ronica and the other two guys are standing over him, just imagine the song playing again. Or like the scene when
right in the very dramatic part of the ending.
Or when he like goes into the van, like when he goes into the van and they have their little like
that would kind of make
sparring
sense.
Session.
Yeah, that would make sense too. Although that would be like, I kind of noticed they had a stunt double, I'm pretty sure, while he was doing that, so that she wasn't actually like on top of a 15-year-old.
Yeah. That makes sense. For many reasons.
Her character is interesting.
You literally took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's just like, how are we supposed to feel about her, and why does she dress like this at work?
Why is she not in the sequel? Why is Natalie not in the sequel? Is it like we're supposed to be like James Bond, where the characters and love interests change every time?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that makes sense.
Because Derek is the best, so I'm not going to complain that...
Derek is the best!
...that he's the handler in the second one. But
no.
they just never say... And, like, as a kid, that really confused me, because I'm like, what happened to Ronica? What happened to Natalie? Like, is she, like, on another mission? Is Natalie just, like, not in Cody's life? Are they, like, you know... I mean...
Yeah, because it's only...
2 movies.
It's only 2 movies, and... Like, how much time has passed in between the first and the second one in, like, their fictional life?
Maybe at least a year, because Cody's 16 in the second one.
Yeah, so I guess maybe things just didn't work out with Natalie. She thought maybe he kept, like, being all weird and secretive, and she thought he was cheating on her, and then of course, he was just being a secret agent, and then she got fed up with it and broke up with him.
Okay. So well, then what about
plausible.
What about Ronica?
Yeah, she's on another mission. Because do you think that happens in the CIA? People get different... Well, are handlers even different? Like, are handlers a thing in the CIA? I'd probably not, since they don't have children as... But maybe they do, and we don't know.
Well, they're partners at the end, so yeah, she could just be going on a solo mission or something, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe Cody wanted to go with her, but then the director's like, no, you have to go back to summer camp and train under Captain Squishy.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
We're already delving into the second one. I need to stay on track here.
I know. Okay, first one.
Yeah, first one.
So, we remembered, like, part of the way through where, like, something has to do with ice. Ice plays an important part in this. And that's pretty much all I remembered.
When we first started the movie, I'm like, okay, the dad scientist guy, he has something going on, and then it gets to ice. But I'm like, how does it get to ice?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's talking about an oil spill, and I'm like, I remember the oil spill scene. I remember at the end when there's like all the ice cubes, but I'm like, how do we get from point A to point B?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've got all the little nanobots who live in sub-zero temperatures, so they have to be put in ice, and he was gonna put them in ice cubes and destroy the world. And the guy with that haircut who has like the logo cut into his haircut of their evil corporation, whatever. I don't even know what it is. That just is hilarious. Because he has the greatest line. He has some of the greatest lines in the movie.
Yes, he does. He really does.
Best one at the end.
Oh yeah, yes. So, eat your burger, and then ducks, and then the best one. You messed up my haircut. See? and
Ducks.
Like literally, how does one character have so many memorable quotes? I don't know.
That's awesome.
Ducks. Like
Ducks.
That should be my bio profile on all my socials. Just ducks.
Ducks. SMH. Ducks.
Something's going on in the lab. The silent alarm's been tripped. Ducks. I just want that to be in every like serious spy movie or heist movie, like in Mission Impossible when Tom Cruise is dangling like above the floor in the CIA Langley building, and then when he just gets out, like as soon as he gets out, that big chase scene in the middle of the movie, as soon as he gets out, the henchman, that's what we're calling him, the henchman comes by and it's just like ducks. Ducks stole the knock list. Ducks.
I feel like he was more entertaining to watch than the actual evil guy.
Yeah, what was the actual evil guy?
Let's find out. Ian McShane. He plays Blackbeard in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. He's in Deadwood. He's in Kung Fu Panda. John Wick.
Oh, he's also in Game of Thrones. He plays Brother Ray. So both movies have Game of Thrones actors. That's cool. Although I'm not a Game of Thrones fan, but Maddie is. So he's in all the John Wicks. That's cool. He's in a SpongeBob episode. He plays Gordon. Gordon. Let's see. Is there a quote? Does he have any quotes? Gordon. It says, the Vikings have kidnapped SpongeBob and Squidward. Now that you're part of the crew, I guess we should introduce ourselves. This is Olaf, and this is Olaf, and this is Olaf. This is Olaf, and Olaf. So, and Squidward says, so let me guess, your name must be, that's right, Gordon. SpongeBob says, nice to meet ya. That's his one quote.
Wow, that's awesome.
Isn't that great?
That's pretty great.
And
that's the guy who plays the evil guy in the first Agent Cody Banks?
Yes, and I just learned that today, so that makes me happy.
Woohoo!
So this episode is called Dear Vikings. It's from season 6, which is not a good season, but I remember this episode actually. But I forgot about the whole Gordon quote.
Is it the Leif Erikson one, or that's earlier?
No, that's earlier. That's classic SpongeBob era. This
Okay,
is the we don't talk about SpongeBob era.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, anyway, back to Agent Cody Banks. What's your favorite gadget he has in this movie? Not the second movie.
I gotta go with the skateboard. Unless you say something that I forgot, I'm gonna go with the skateboard because I like that chase scene. Those guys in black scared me when I saw this movie when I was really young. It's one of those irrational movie. I have some rational movie fears that still freak me out today, but that was one of the irrational ones that I just find funny that it freaked me out. Because I remember them not saying anything, and I remember them just like, just the idea of faceless, evil corporate guys like bounty hunters just chasing you, and like, you know, that always freaked me out. But then now I'm like, they're wearing the same leather that the Thum Thumbs wear in Spy Kids.
Oh, interesting. Coincidence?
Coincidence? I think not.
My favorite thing, if this counts, is the little helicopter thing that Veronica Miles flies around on. And then they send the henchman off on it at the end.
After Cody messes up his haircut.
Yes. That thing is so cool. I want one so bad.
That thing is really cool.
I hope they invent them soon.
That and then the hoverboard from Back to the Future too.
Yeah, that needs to be a thing.
And don't tell me that the little things with wheels are called hoverboards. No, a hoverboard is a skateboard that doesn't have wheels. If the hoverboard is not like it is in Back to the Future 2, it's got to be hot.
It has to hover.
It has to be hot pink. But yes, it has.
Cute.
But yes, it has to hover. I was absolutely right. I said my favorite gadget. You reminded me of a better one.
Haha.
Oh, I'm feeling a little bit psychic today.
Is that from the second one or the first one?
Yes, Mr. Weasley. You're psychic now, are you? Question boy.
Oh, yeah. Feeling a bit psychic today.
The other part of this movie that freaked me out because I saw this movie when I was really young. Another part that freaked me out was the kid driving the car was because his foot hit. I think it like hits the emergency brake or whatever, and I always thought that was going to happen to me on accident. Like I was going to bump something.
Yeah, so he releases the e-brake and then it just starts rolling. Yeah.
And I thought that would happen to me.
That was actually really scary. Yeah. You thought that it would happen to you even though you have control over your own body.
Well, yes, because like if I was sitting in the back seat and I wanted to like reach forward to get like gum out of my mom's purse or something when I was like 6 years old, then I'm like, oh shit, my arm could bump the brake because he just like steps on it, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, arm, leg, same thing. I mean, how old was I? Like 5, 6 years old, like.
Yeah, but you'd have to like pull it. You'd have to push in the button and then pull it all the way up or down or whatever. So
see, I know that now.
I get it.
But like, I think in the movie he just steps on it, like movie logic. So.
Right.
So me being 5 years.
So then you're like, oh my god, I don't want to be in the car.
Right. So me being an impressionable 5-year-old, it's like, oh, my mom's gonna go get the mail. Like I can't like reach forward and get a napkin or something because I'm gonna. Or change the radio station because I'm gonna
die.
The car could roll. I think both of those fears though lasted very brief because I saw, I think the second movie just took them all away, and then like a year later I had seen like Star Wars and I'm like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Whenever these came out, like Revenge of the Sith came out around the same time, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna get burned by lava. I'll be fine. Movies are just fun.
Movies are fun.
Movies feed my soul. That's my new profile on Letterboxd.
Aw,
or my new bio. My new bio.
That's great.
It should be ducks, but I didn't want to do that.
I mean, yeah, the first one, there's really not much to it. It's pretty simple. It's pretty good kids movie.
It's Cody going to get the girl, and then he's got a couple bullies. He takes a driver's ed class.
Oh yeah, that scene was great.
Natalie gets captured. Yeah, that scene's great. And then Natalie gets captured while they're on a date, and then he has to go with Veronica to save her. He goes a little bit rogue, like Ethan Hunt style.
Yeah. So what kind of movies do you think? I mean, yeah, this is basically like a kid version of Mission Impossible or James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. And because kids have not seen Mission Impossible or James Bond, but maybe this would be like their introduction to the whole genre. And then I wonder how many people who like loved this movie as a kid really love Mission Impossible and James Bond, because I am not one of them.
I am one of them because I love Mission Impossible, but I'm not a huge James Bond fan personally.
Yeah. I've only seen like one Mission Impossible, I think. And zero James Bond. Well,
please tell me it wasn't the second one.
No, it wasn't the second one.
Oh, thank God.
It was the newest one.
Say, if that's true. Okay.
I was like, I don't even know why. I think I was hella bored. And that was the summer that I only watched. Whenever I went to the movies, I only saw sequels. I saw like Ant-Man 2, Mission Impossible 6, or whatever that is, or 5.
Yep.
And
6.
Oh, Deadpool 2, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, so There was a solid 3 minutes of this movie when I had no clue what was happening. It's the montage when Cody's CIA agent friends and a bunch of random other people are trying to teach him how to talk to girls.
Oh,
which first of
yes.
all, first of all, that's a great thing to learn. Everyone should learn how to do that.
Like strategically, yes.
Myself included, yeah, strategically. Because, walking up and saying hello is actually a lot harder than it sounds. Mm-hmm. But for an actual 3 minutes, I was sitting there and I was just like, I have no idea what's happening, because there's a simulation of a girl talking to Cody standing on a table.
Oh, yeah.
There's some woman talking about hyenas. There's some army general shouting orders at him. There's the gadget guy of this movie like pointing at a board and being like, you want to be this way, and then there's some guy I just had no idea what was happening. And
Me
I'm
either.
like, what does any of this have to do with like I get it's the part of the story, but what does any of this have to do with anything?
It was so ridiculous. My jaw was dropped. We were both like, what?
I don't know if I could form words talking about when that scene was playing. I was just like, what is even going on? Not in a sense I wasn't following the movie, but in a sense where I'm so overstimulated by all of this. I can't even decipher what these people are saying and how it relates to Cody. I'm like, what is going on?
I know. It was just insane. Yeah, the hyenas girl, but it makes sense. Like, there's not one way to talk to a girl, because all girls are different and everyone is different in the way they want to be approached. So, but I can assure you that, no, I don't even remember who was on, who said what, but it was great when we were watching that scene where he was about to call her on the phone and he was rehearsing things. He was like, "Sup, babe?" Or
I loved that so much.
"What's shaking, bacon?" And then he's like, "Hello, hi, how are you, Natalie?" And we're like, "Yeah, there you go."
That scene, I felt that scene because, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I've been there, but I've been there, where you're trying to call somebody, you don't know what to say, you've rehearsed it 1,000 times, and when you actually call, it's just as nerve-wracking, because you're like, oh god, this is the real thing. Bail.
Aw.
But yes, I loved that moment, because one, it was funny, and two, it was relatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was probably the most crazy scene. The crazy,
Yeah.
The montage of everyone, and he's just sweating.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So you mentioned before how, imagine if the movie started with the summer camp, and then that's how the second one does. Well, first of all, I think that's a great idea, rhyming scene-wise, to make the two more connected, because the two movies really aren't connected that much.
Yeah.
But also, what if it starts off as a summer camp movie, and then we reveal that this is the CIA training, and then we see the title, Agent Cody Banks, and that's how we get the first two scenes of the movie.
I think that would be good too. It starts off on Parents' Day, they're being regular kids.
Go time.
And then it turns into their secret agent, and then we're like, oh, okay, this is their secret agent camp. I think that would be great too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, there's really no scenes that connect these movies. It's just a blonde love interest, Frankie Muniz and his family, and the director of the CIA, Keith David. Yeah,
that's it. I don't even know if he has a name. We just call him Keith David, because that's who he is.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. I think he's just the director. Yeah, just his credit is CIA director.
Man, he's great though. He's so
great
in these movies. The Beanie Baby scene is the highlight, but we'll get to that, or maybe we won't. What happened to you? I don't want to talk about it.
He has some good lines in the first one too, when he's just yelling at, or when he's talking. I had a high school teacher like this who would just talk normally and then yell one word. It would usually be Nazis, or he'd be like, and then Germany was taken over by the Nazis, and then it would wake everyone up because we were sleeping. And that's kind of what this guy reminded me of. What was his line?
He goes up to the guy who won't let Cody in, and then
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then this kid was snooping around, and then Keith David says to him "You just apprehended the most important kid in America."
Yeah. And he's like, "We spent $10 million training this kid, and we did not teach him how to talk to a girl." Those are the best too, yeah.
And then there's like a part when he finds out that Cody like stole stuff, and he's like, he stole the car.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't start off silently, but then he goes into screaming mode, and it's great.
Yeah, it's so funny.
In the second one, when Cody says like, oh yeah, I took care of the simulation, like Keith David's like, that wasn't a simulation, that was the real thing.
Oh yeah.
Why is his character not a meme?
Yeah. Google that.
Cody Banks.
Why
meme.
is the CIA director? Oh my god. Oh my god. Our Agent Cody Banks meme's a thing.
If they're not, they should be. We'll start the trend. We'll post our Instagram post will just be Agent Cody Banks memes. The first one is Agent Cody Banks beating people with frying pans. That's 2003.
Oh my god.
Oh, then there's another one. It says sitting in a treehouse isn't a date. It is when you're playing doctor. And then I found the door to CIA headquarters. It's a public toilet. Here, I'm gonna send you that one.
I mean, it's kind of weird what happened to Frankie Muniz.
So what did happen?
So he was in Malcolm in the Middle for years.
Yeah. And Big Fat Liar.
Big Fat Liar.
Which is also great.
Yes. Recently, the most recent thing that came out about him was that he blocked out like a lot of years of his life. He kind of blacked them out. Like he doesn't remember shooting whole seasons of Malcolm in the Middle for some reason. Like something happened to him, and it was yeah, just interesting. I guess being a child star, some sort of weird, maybe not trauma, but
I hope it wasn't
yeah,
trauma.
I hope so too. I guess right now he lives in Scottsdale. Man, that's awesome. My parents live in Phoenix. I can go see him.
I want to go with you. I want to see him.
He's married to a woman named Paige, and they had their first child last year. Oh wait, no. Oh my gosh, no, last month. Like 3 weeks ago, they had a kid.
Well, that's why we're doing the episode.
Happy congratulations to the birth of your child, Frankie. This is for you.
Happy, yeah. This is for you. Raise a glass. We loved you in all your roles. Okay, they're bringing every series back. Do a Cody Banks, but then he's like the parent. No, don't do that. But
no, who's like the director, or he's the handler.
Yes. Yeah, he's the handler. Even better. That's the best one.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And then we can have Derek like be somewhere as a successful professional chef. And then like Cody goes to his restaurant, but then it's like he gets gadgets or he gets something. Like Cody and the new kid. And then you can have them meet Veronica somehow, or something.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
But at least get Anthony Anderson.
Okay, Anthony Anderson is the star of this whole 2-part thing.
Yes, two very loosely connected movies. Two-part movies is going to be the theme for this episode. Might even be in the title.
2 parts.
But we'll get to that. So the producers for this movie include Madonna and Jason Alexander, George Costanza himself.
Like what?
Isn't that... Yeah, how did that happen? Jason Alexander was also going to direct the movie, and then he was replaced by Harrison Ford's stunt double, Vic Armstrong, and then who got replaced by Harald Zwart, who's the director of many movies, including Pink Panther 2, and much more important movies like the Karate Kid remake and the Mortal Instruments movie, which I wish I could say we're getting to this time, but unfortunately that will be at a later time.
Yeah, Harrison Ford's stunt double is a director, apparently. Can you look up to see what else has that guy directed? Anything?
Certainly. Vic Armstrong, Mr. Armstrong himself, he's directed the 2014 Left Behind, Mr. Nicolas Cage, one of our favorite people ever. Also, Chad Michael Murray's in that movie.
Oh.
And then he also directed A Sunday Horse in 2016. He directed a movie called Joshua Tree, also known as Army of One. And that's his directing credits. The rest are all second unit or stunt arranging or Harrison Ford stunt double on Return of the Jedi and the Indiana Jones trilogy, because it is a trilogy.
Wow. Okay. Very cool.
So Left Behind is actually a movie series. Yes, yes. So there's 3 movies and then 2 spin-offs, and then there's a remake reboot, and that's the one that he directed, Vic Armstrong, with Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it other than it stars Nicolas Cage, and that automatically makes me want to see it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so now I know that I can be a stunt double and break into the industry that way. So maybe that'll be my big break.
Anyway, so this is the CIA Get Out of Trouble watch. I just had to write that quote down.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one. And then, like, yeah, the kids at school, they're like, they take his little plastic toy watch and they're like, ooh, look at this.
And then Cody actually very smartly is like, you can keep the watch, just don't press that button. And the kid's like, yeah, I won't press the button. And then, of course...
Yeah, that was a good moment.
So the school that Cody and Natalie attend is called the William Donovan Prep School. William Donovan was in charge of the U.S. Office of Strategic Services in World War II, which stands for the OSS. The OSS eventually became the CIA.
Dude.
And the OSS is the child spy organization in Spy Kids 2 and 3.
Dude, that's awesome.
So how crazy is that? Also, this came out the same year as Spy Kids 3, so...
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess they jumped on the Spy Kids train.
Yeah, but it's different enough that it's really not like...
It is, yeah. Because I haven't even thought of Spy Kids until now, so... I wonder if there... Oh, man, there was probably, like, a really horrible, like, B-list, C-list movie about it, like a Spy Kid that came out around the same time. Oh, man, I bet that'd be good.
Like with the YA craze, like how they made like 10 of those movies.
Yeah, except like really bad.
Series.
Like, you know, like how some really small studios make like Frozen knockoffs now.
Like the Snow Queen or the
Ice
Queen. Or
yeah, like something like that. It would be like Secret Agent Kid.
Secret Agent Kid. I think that's a real movie.
Really?
But yeah, there's one I saw in Walmart. It's called like Dune Drifters, and every time I see it, because Dune is in big words, and I'm like Dune, but it's not Dune. No, Secret Agent Kid is not a thing. But yeah, Dune Drifter. Of course, it came out to tie into the new Dune movie, but of course it didn't line up now because, you know, Dune didn't come out right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it was supposed to.
Yeah.
So Hilary Duff first heard of this movie when Muniz was guest starring on Lizzie McGuire, which is really interesting.
Oh, really?
So the Cody Banks romances.
Yes.
Are there scenes in Twilight that are the exact same, like when they first meet in school and how they can't really talk to each other because
yes.
one of them has a secret agenda. The man in their relationship has a secret agenda.
Yes.
You know, because Cody's a super spy and Edward's a vampire.
Absolutely, the exact same.
It's the exact same. And then in the second movie, wait. Was there a scene in the movie where we're like, oh my gosh, it's Twilight?
Yeah. When Cody saves Natalie. Wait, is it when she falls off or?
Yeah. So she's like on the ladder, hanging a sign up, and then he shows up out of nowhere. He shows up
out of nowhere, so she falls down because she's clumsy, just like Bella. And she falls down, and he grabs the banner, and she slides all the way down the banner, and then he holds her in his arms, and she's like, oh, my savior. And she's like, where did you even come from? I didn't even see you. Because you were facing a wall, Hilary Duff. And then he's like, oh, I guess I know things.
I transferred here.
Oh, yeah. I transferred from whatever high school.
Well, at least that's better than Edward being like, no, I was halfway across.
He was like gaslighting.
Well, he had to protect his identity.
He could have just said... Yeah, I run really fast.
Rush.
Yeah.
I'm a track star.
And I'm not on track because I don't want to, like, waste all my time.
or you know what he could have said? It could be like the Clark Kent thing where, you know, my dad didn't want me to be on track because I'm that much faster than everybody else.
Yeah. He didn't... Really? That happens?
Yeah, well, kind of. So in the original Superman, there's a scene between him and his Earth dad. And then Jonathan Kent said, like Clark says, you know, like, when I kick a football, I really can kick it, and I can run faster than all the guys on the team. And then his dad says, like, yeah, that's true, but you're here for a reason. You know, you got to use your powers wisely. And then Man of Steel was like, oh yeah, let's have his dad guilt him into not using his powers and to letting children on a bus die, or probably die. And I'm like, man, just the writing in that angle to that movie, just I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because if I was a high schooler with those powers, I would absolutely like not be thinking about the greater good. I'd be like, no, I need to get into a good college. This can be my way in. I can be on a scholarship for sports. I'm gonna do this.
Yes, especially if your family was struggling, you know.
Yeah, I would have a hard time understanding that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great scene in the original movie. It's actually really heartfelt. And then I wanted to look up who the bully kid was because I didn't know if he was in anything else.
Yeah.
Do you remember what his name is?
Fenster?
Yeah, is it Fenster?
I think it's Fenster.
Okay, he's in Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Oh my god!
He plays Vladimir, the 1,500-year-old vampire, which I think
So he's in the Volturi?
They're like the two brothers. Like the two brothers that like had their whole coven destroyed.
Oh, okay. Oh my god.
Isn't that amazing? We connected.
That's really amazing.
It was intentional. Of course. We were talking about Twilight and Edward.
We knew this.
Of course.
Oh, he's in Shameless.
Oh yeah, but who cares about that, man? He's in
I don't
Twilight.
like that show, but a lot of people like that show, so I'm gonna mention it.
I want to know why you don't like it, because from what I've heard about it, I feel like I wouldn't like it either.
I don't think you would like it either. For the same reason I don't like the Florida Project and...
Because it's about assholes.
Yeah.
And there's no redeeming characters. Yeah. Okay. Then
Yep.
No, I wouldn't want to watch it because I don't like stories like that.
Yeah, me either.
Personally. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that's not my personal taste.
Yeah, I don't like to watch things like that. And that's the same reason why I didn't like to watch the Hillbilly Elegy movie either.
The Hillbilly... Oh, yeah, the Oscar one, right?
There were some redeeming characters, but it was mostly about having a horrible childhood and...
Oh, God. I don't need a movie version of that. I just... Grave of the Fireflies is negative towards children enough. I can't... no.
Yeah.
I can't handle any more child cruelty in cinema. That's like one thing I can't watch is kids, you know, getting hurt or, you know, not in good relationships or, you know, non-consensual things. I can't watch that with any age, but with and also kids getting, I can't watch that.
Yeah, it's hard to watch.
Well, on a lighter note, I would love to talk about the second movie if you are ready.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Since the sequel takes place in London, we should talk like this for the rest of the episode. I'm sure that would not get irritating.
Oh yes, not at all.
Plasma flat screen, Gucci interior, DVD surround sound, GPS wireless Ethernet. And the best man riding shotgun.
Kumar,
yeah.
Oh
He is a bit young, isn't he, sir? And to top it off, woo! He just starts playing. Best use of any song in a movie. Wait. We gotta backtrack. We gotta start at the beginning. So, Agent Cody Banks 2, one of the greatest sequels improvements ever, starts off with, as the first movie should have, in summer camp with Captain Squishy. And none of that really matters because do we need to talk about that, or should we just talk about when they get to London?
Like all the camp stuff? Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Just Captain Squishy. He's the only one who matters.
And then the Video Now reference. Best product placement in any movie ever.
Hey, is that a Video Now?
How'd that get in my pocket?
People watching this now, like, for the first time, like, if they're, like, 8, they'd be like, what the hell is a Video Now?
I don't mean to be condescending, but I don't know how many 8-year-olds what age do you start paying attention to movies, like really giving them your attention?
That's a good question, because there's a lot of movies I saw as a child that, like, I did pay attention to, and, like, they made sense to me at that time, but then it's so weird to go back and watch them as an adult and then see what they actually are talking about, because they make sense in a different context. I think it's so bizarre.
It is. It's a really unique thing that you really can't grasp besides when you're experiencing it, because if you're watching a movie when you're like 6, 7 years old, and you watch it again when you're late teens, early 20s, and you're grasping it in a different way, there's really nothing quite like that.
Because it's not like the same. Like, you could watch an R-rated movie when you're 17 and go back and watch it when you're 27, and you might like not have, you might have a different opinion about it, but it's not like completely different. Like, I feel like kids' movies can be, if you watch it as a kid and then you watch it as an adult.
So anyway, I didn't want to sound, like, oh, 8-year-olds don't understand cinema, because I'm sure there's plenty of, because everyone's brain develops at different times, and everyone's able to understand different things at different ages. So, but yeah, like, I still think that's really funny, because like, imagine some kids watching this now and then they're like, what's a video now? But like, imagine like somebody our age or like a little bit younger, like 18, 19 years old, way younger than that, like 16, 17 years old. They're like, what's a video now?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. They wouldn't have any idea either.
I mean, I barely had any idea. Like, I knew what it was, but I never had one myself.
I didn't have one either.
I heard it wasn't that great of quality.
I don't. I feel like it's like you probably don't know what this is, but we had these things when we were kids, like hit clips. Have you heard of hit clips?
I think I don't know.
So there were like these little things called hit clips, and they were like a little tiny square, and you would put it inside a device, and it would play like 45 seconds of a song.
Wow.
And I feel like Video Now was like the equivalent. Like, it only had like some episodes of some Nickelodeon shows or something like that, and you could only watch that on your Video Now, and you had to buy this stupid portable video player to only play like a few episodes of SpongeBob, and that's kind of like what hit clips was. You had to buy a little device to play the 45 seconds of a song, and you could buy like the top hits at that time, like Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys. And it wouldn't even be the full song.
Well, what other kind of music would you even want to buy? Like, that's all you need right there.
True.
Game Boy Advance also had that, where they had one cartridge that had 2 movies on it. It had Shrek and Shark Tale, and the quality was obviously not very good. But it's just funny. And then I think they did the same thing with like episodes of shows and such too. So like, I just find that really funny. Like, if at that point, why not just watch it on VHS or listen to a cassette tape? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like people did that. Like, they would put like a portable TV in like down on the floor in your car and just like watch movies that way. Or a few years later, you'd have a little portable DVD player like hanging in the middle of the seats, or like by like the straps on the back of the headrest. So,
or your car would come with one.
Yeah, exactly. So if this movie came out in 2007 or 8, it would probably be like or 2009, it'd probably be like an iPod.
Like iPod Touch, yeah.
Yeah, like something that people still know about nowadays, even though technically iPod Touches, I don't know if they exist, but Nanos and Shuffles don't exist anymore.
Right.
Welcome to this random episode of Film Therapy. We're talking about literally everything under the sun.
Is that my video now?
Is that my video now? I love that one line has gotten us to wherever we're talking about now.
Yes.
Like freaking iPods. Like,
did you have an iPod Touch?
Oh, I had an iPod Shuffle, an iPod Nano, an iPod Touch, and then I had a Samsung or an Android phone. I got an iPhone to sync my music up to with Apple, and then I was perfectly, I'm not going into my Apple rant right now, because that would take, because you know what, I'm trying to work less on. I don't want to whine and complain about things as much, so I'm trying to just just enjoy the positive things in life. If I get fired up about something like, I don't know, Halloween Town 4 or the fact that Ascendant's not a movie, which not this time but sometime, I might not even care, but we'll get to that sometime.
Okay, yes.
Anyway, so Cody Banks 2 starts off with, is that my video now? And then Captain Squishy, which he doesn't say Captain Squishy the first time. He says something like, he like mispronounces the word squishy. He says like squinchy or something. Squanchy.
Yeah,
like
something
Rick and
weird.
Morty.
He was like
Yeah,
not
something.
in tune with the script at that point.
No, he wasn't in tune. His character wasn't in tune with the character's script because he kept messing it up. He's like I'm the commander in chief. I mean, head counselor. So then there's a simulation, and then or Cody thinks it's a simulation, but it's the real deal.
It's the real deal.
So then they go into the bathroom and press the O and the out of order button because Cody's getting on a new mission with the director. And then they go down the elevator, and then down the escalator, and then they're in the CIA room with the killer Beanie Babies. And then the director's like, oh yeah, the guy we put in charge of your camp, he stole some of our software, and we were gonna get him, but then you let him get away. So then Cody's like, I'm gonna go bring him back because this responsibility is on me. And then he goes to the central location of the movie,
London.
Thank you. I was waiting for that.
You're welcome.
And then in that place, he meets Derek, who is the best character by far in both of these movies.
Absolutely. Anthony Anderson coming in for the win.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, from his first line, he's
Hey
just
man,
amazing.
it's called a double bluff.
Is that his first line?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, he's like holding up a sign at the airport like, Agent Cody Banks, CIA. Cody freaks out.
Because Cody's different in this movie. In the first movie, he was more like Derek. He was so excited. It was his first mission. That's my mission. I'm supposed to get close to her. But
Yes.
then in the second movie, he's more like how Veronica Miles was.
Yes.
The one with the Nelly theme song. That one. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm here for the rules. I need to pay attention. I'm really serious. We're not going to mess around. It's completely different.
And then Derek basically teaches him, like, hey, man, you're a kid. Be a kid. Like, that's why they recruited you. It's more fun. But then Cody's like, no, it's my fault Diaz got away. I got to be serious this time. I'm not trying to get close to Natalie. I'm trying to get close to all these music students. We got to get Diaz and
not even that. I feel like he doesn't even take his undercover role seriously. He just gets kind of like,
No,
I'm
he
here.
doesn't.
We're gonna get Diaz. We're gonna get everyone involved, and it doesn't matter even if I like blow my cover, which he ends up doing.
Like as many times.
Yeah. He's that's interesting. He's like a lot more serious about his position, but lax in what he's doing to protect his position.
Which is the inverse of the last movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where his cover was very, like he was able to keep, he was very like aloof and very excited, but he was also able to keep his focus more.
Mm-hmm. Except for that time he beat up the guys.
Which is so stupid. I was just gonna say, like,
That is stupid.
That was really dumb.
Yeah, how he got in trouble. He like got kicked off the mission for beating up these guys. Like, yeah, like you said, he could have just like been involved in some
like a martial arts like class or something.
Yeah,
Like taking karate or taekwondo on the side. But
Exactly.
like he could have said that. Like he could have gone up to Natalie or to whoever shot the picture and was like, hey, I mean, the bad guys would know his identity, so that would be compromised, but that wouldn't take him off the mission. That would just, increase the security around him.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like, being a kid in high school, you're going to have to deal with things like that, like bullies, and
Yeah.
you're going to have to want to stand up to them, because if you don't, that could also compromise your position. If they beat you up and threw you in the pool and then you got kicked out of the party, then, like, that would be not good because he couldn't go investigate further, so.
Yeah, exactly.
He was just trying to, stand his ground.
Yeah, I mean, he had to stand his ground because the girl he liked was watching, and he didn't want to let her down because they were ruining her party also and like throwing other people into the pool.
Mm-hmm.
They were just being jerks to everybody. It's like, why are they even there? It's probably just like they had to be invited because it was like a school-wide or a class-wide thing.
Yeah, I was wondering that, like, why did she feel the need to invite them? This is probably what happened. She probably had one of her friends was in a relationship with one of Fester's friends. And then
Fester,
she's like,
Fester's
well, we can't
close.
just invite Fester or Fenster.
Uncle Fester. Just call him Uncle Fester. It's fine.
Uncle Fester.
Like Christopher.
And we can't just invite his friends. So we have to invite the whole posse. And it's like, whatever, I'm going to have to invite them. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Pretty sure.
That's exactly what happened. Also, do we ever find out how Natalie knows where Cody lives? Does he give her, like, his address or something? Because she just shows up to his house. I thought about that, too. Yeah, because that's like Back to the Future, where she shows up at Marty's house, or Doc's house, and then to see Marty. And then Marty's like, how'd you know I was here? And then she's like, oh, I just followed you. I'm like, Natalie shows up on a totally different day, so like...
Yeah, I have no idea. She's probably also a secret agent.
Yeah. Also, one thing I forgot to bring up, I love that she takes the bad guy out. That's awesome.
Yes.
One thing about the Cody Banks 2 DVD that I think is interesting is that so for the commentary track, they have Frankie Muniz, Anthony Anderson, and we really should find out the actress's name, but the actress who plays Emily, is that her name, Emily?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the three of them, instead of doing a audio commentary, they do a video commentary. So the movie will pause and they'll walk on screen and be like, "Hey, I'm Frankie Muniz. Hey, I'm Anthony Anderson. Hey, this is the commentary."
Excuse me?
And
really?
Also, I'm not there's more.
Okay. Emily, her real name is Hannah Spirit.
Hannah Spirit. Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So they have like a green screen and they like walk onto the screen in front of the movie.
Yeah. So it's like the movie will freeze on like them riding in the
freeze.
car. Like the movie freezes and they just walk on and then they're like, "Oh yeah, shooting this scene was like this and shooting this scene was like this."
Okay, I love that.
Isn't that awesome? It's so unique.
I really love that.
And then they also have an interactive like quiz. So like, but instead of it just being like a regular DVD where it's like you just do it all at once, you watch the movie and then they'll like show a scene and then they'll be like, okay, what was this detail from this scene? Like what were Cody and Derek eating in this scene, or what was like one of the features of Derek's car or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember that's how I would watch the movie a lot when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wish I knew about that.
Did you say do you have this on DVD somewhere? Like in
I do. I think my
something?
parents have it at their house.
Well, if you find it, or B, if you come to visit me, we should do that.
Oh my god.
So I was gonna say I have a list of iconic things in this movie.
Love it. Let's go.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So it's the best use of the song "Right There" in a motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. The exploding Mentos.
Yes.
Chocolate Surprise.
Chocolate Surprise.
Woodwind
Which we
Bunny.
made our own and we
Yes.
ate during the movie. We will post
Yes.
pictures of it.
We didn't have the exact ingredients, so we both got.
I didn't have
creative,
Snickers.
Shall we say? No, me neither.
Yeah, I
Bunny.
had. What was yours made out of?
Mine was made out of cookie dough ice cream, and I had M&M's, white chocolate chips, something else, and then whipped cream.
Yes, mine was a Reese's Klondike bar with chocolate chips, chocolate syrup, peanut butter, and a chocolate chunk cookie.
You know, I think I might go get some dessert when we're done recording, because that sounds...
Yeah, now I'm hungry.
Yeah. So, Woodwind Buddy, which is said 6 times in the movie.
6 times? Really?
6 times, yep.
I thought it was like 3.
Once by Cody, no, twice by Cody, and 4 times by the other girl. What's her name? Do we ever find her name out?
I don't even know her name. She's just Woodwind Buddy.
Then we have Captain Squishy, always with his baseball, and that's another thing for the third movie. If they want to bring Diaz back, just introduce him by having like the baseball being thrown up in the air, and we'll know. Oh crap, it's Diaz.
Yes.
The Killer Beanie Babies.
What is up with that? Why?
What's that gonna do?
Do you have Beanie Babies?
No. Yeah. No. Yes. Yes.
Man,
I think I did.
I have a ton of Beanie Babies. Like the old versions, not the one with the big eyes, not that they have now. Like the old versions that they play in this movie where they're evil. Or I don't even know what they are. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't. What's the point of that? And then we have Heinz the composer.
Heinz. He has like 57 varieties.
Varieties?
I mean, symphonies.
Inch High Private Eye. That's what Derek calls Cody.
Oh, yes. That's a great line.
Question Boy. Mr. Weasley calls Cody Question Boy.
That's honestly such a great scene with Mr. Weasley.
It is. I like to imagine that it is Mr. Weasley trying to understand Muggles.
Oh my god. That makes sense.
Doesn't that make sense?
It makes sense.
I'm feeling a bit psychic today.
Because he's like, psychic? Like, whatever you muggles think is magic, they're like, psychic.
Yes, exactly. Like, yeah, of course. Of course, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit psychic today.
Except Mr. Weasley would not be that threatening, because it's Mr. Weasley.
Yeah, he'd be like, so, like, what are you...
What exactly is the function of a rubber duck?
Yes, exactly.
Which is my favorite line in that movie, probably. That should be my Chamber of Secrets review. Is what's the function of a rubber duck?
Yeah, there is no function.
And the way he like takes a bite of pancake after he says it is so perfect.
Oh my god.
He's like, "What's a rubber duck do?" And then he just eats the pancake. I'm like, great. I'm Uncle Compton.
Oh yeah, the Compton references with Anthony. He's always like, Compton this, Compton that. And that was something I had no idea of as a child. I was like, I don't know what Compton is. It's just a word he likes to say.
Yep. Me
yeah,
too.
he's like, I'm straight out of Compton. We like to...
When food is good in America, we say it's straight out of Compton.
And then later he's like, you can call me Uncle Compton. Like, he must have a very strong relationship with Compton.
There's the movie Straight Outta Compton. Is Anthony Anderson in that movie? If not, he should have been. It's a cinematic universe, man.
Wait, in Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah. Is he in that movie?
I don't know.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I'll look it up real quick. He probably, I feel like if he was, we would know about it, but
I don't know. I don't even know who's in that movie. So
Anthony Anderson is in Scriforum and Transformers.
Oh my god!
And he's in The Departed, and he's in Kangaroo Jack.
Oh yeah, he's in Kangaroo Jack.
Then there's the kid that he plays Theon on Game of Thrones when he's Theon, the kid on bass, double bass piece. Beans on Toast. Weird.
Beans on Toast. Weird. Yeah, so that was my most memorable quote in this movie. And Jake was surprised and disappointed.
I was. Because between her saying that and us getting to that scene, we had like 15 memorable quotes.
Yeah, true. I was like, yeah, there's one memorable quote I have in here, and you're never going to guess what it is, but I'll let you know when it is. And then he kept guessing, like, is it this? Is it this? And I'm like, no, but that's a good quote. And then when he was like, beans on toast, weird. I was like, that's it. And you're like, oh.
I'm a little disappointed, but, it's still a good quote. It's just not like...
Yeah, so when we were kids, my brother and I, we were, like, reading that book, Stone Soup. And they would say, soup from a stone, fancy that. And then we would be like, beans on toast, weird. And then we would mash the two together, so we'd be like, soup from a stone, weird. Beans on toast, fancy that.
I love that.
And that's why it stuck in my head.
And then, you sleep with a blankie? It's not a blankie, it's a handkerchief.
Oh my god, yes, that scene's great. And he's got like an empty bowl of chocolate surprise next to him while he's sleeping.
Oh, he does? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
And then later in the end of the movie, he's like, go make me a chocolate surprise to one of the kids. That's also great.
When he becomes the camp counselor.
Yeah, so that would be the third movie, is that, well, I guess Derek can still be a camp counselor in the summer, but when he's not in the summer, he's a professional chef at his own restaurant, and then he's making a chocolate surprise.
Yeah.
And that's his scene in the third movie.
Love that.
And it's the best scene in the movie. Also, Justin Timberlake snores. That's a quote.
From Woodwind Buddy.
Now we're getting into quotes. Did you know you have spinach in your teeth? Yes, I did, and I'm saving it for later.
I'm saving it for later.
More great quotes, and I told you this, I took copious notes on this one.
Yeah.
He stole my moped!
Oh, yeah. Best quote.
I had a good teacher. Too bad he was insane.
I don't remember that one.
That's when Cody and Diaz are fighting. Diaz is like, your skills aren't bad. And then he's like, I had a good teacher. Too bad he was insane.
I see.
And it's like, man, if Diaz was the camp counselor in the first movie and then he comes back as the villain in part 2, how much better would that have been?
Yeah, that would have been very much better.
Yeah, because there'd be actual emotional stakes.
Yeah, because we just see him, like, in the first little bit, and we're like, okay, he's kind of weird. He's, like, touching his knife a lot, and...
Mm-hmm. He's got a baseball.
Yeah, he's got a baseball. He's, like, real eerie. But we don't know anything about him. I think, yeah, if he was connected to the first one, that would definitely help.
Yeah. Imagine if, like... Especially because of that idea I had of the third movie, when you see him with the baseball, how much better that would be if you see him in all 3 movies with the baseball. Like, yeah, like, also if they start the first movie at summer camp, like how you had your idea, he's the camp counselor, and then we don't see him for the rest of the movie. Like maybe that's why Cody gets the mission, not because he's close, but because Diaz recommends him because he's like such a great student. And then in movie 2, when Diaz goes bad, we're like, oh no.
Yeah. That would make more sense.
See, with Cody Banks and Twilight, again, we're good at rewriting them. Although this movie doesn't need to be rewritten, just the first one.
Yeah.
And then, no wonder all the malls are empty. Look at all you kids working undercover. And then, what is the pastry chef doing here, and why is he wearing a dress?
It's a, what does he call it? I can't remember.
The ladies go loco for a brother and a bobo. Isn't that what he says?
Yes.
Something like that.
It's a bobo.
It's a bobo. Let me tell you. I'll tell you about this bobo.
Oh, God.
And so the guy who plays Captain Squishy in real life is the dad of the bass kid, of Theon.
Yes. What? Crazy.
So also the other bad guy, not Diaz, the other bad guy, he's Randall from Game of Thrones, and Neville, the crazy guy who gives Cody his gadgets, he plays Thoros in Game of Thrones.
Which I don't remember those characters, but somebody might. It's a lot of Game of Thrones connections to Agent Cody Banks.
Yes, and a lot of Twilight connections.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 2:30. That's another iconic quote.
I wouldn't say iconic.
I would. Ask my sister, she'd tell you.
Okay.
We quote that a lot. Like, whenever we're driving around, like one of us will just play that song and we'll just say, oh, it's 2:30. And then we'll just, like, listen to something else.
Nice.
Then we should listen to the Nellies, the Hot In song, and then just, like...
Hot In. Hot In.
I still think one of the dumbest edits in a movie, or one of the dumbest needle drops in a movie, is when the dad opens the door and she's there and it just starts. It's so funny. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, my God, this is cinema. This is peak cinema.
Oh, God.
Anything else you want to say about Cody Banks 2? We just briefly touched on all that because I knew we weren't going to get to everything, and we still have more stuff to talk about.
I mean, yeah, it's great. It's a great children's movie. If anyone can relate to growing up on this movie, this is for you. If you're just listening to this and you haven't seen these movies, sorry.
What do you mean, sorry? Go watch. Skip the first one. Go watch the second one.
They are free on Amazon Prime. Yeah, we misspoke last time. They're both free on Amazon Prime if you have. I guess if you have Prime, but everyone's got Prime, right?
I think the second one's free on YouTube also.
Oh yeah, you just discovered that, yeah.
Yeah. But also it's a good movie to grow up with. It's a good movie about growing up and about, keeping your inner child at heart, being a kid at heart. It's got a really good message. Oh, also, one thing I forgot to talk about is how much better Emily is than Natalie, because she's a secret agent too, and she's proactive the whole movie, and she has fight scenes, and she's actively helping the heroes out at every turn. And she's actually probably way more knows a lot more what she's doing than the other two do.
Oh yeah, for sure. Feminism. She's a smart character.
She has a fight scene with whatever the other bad guy is, the one that like runs the computer.
Yeah, the dumb guy, or the dumber guy, Santiago. Is that his name?
Yeah, it's his name. Tell him Santiago sent you.
Yeah.
I just want to, real quick, I just want to see if he's in anything else.
His real name is Santiago.
That's amazing. He's in Blade 2, Pacific Rim, Hellboy, but I haven't seen any of those. He's in, I thought it said Superman. It says Super Max. I have no idea what that is. Excellent. So, is there anything else about this movie you wanted to mention?
I guess maybe the logistics of the automatically playing clarinet.
Yes.
Would not, 100% would not work. Unless you just had a little speaker inside of it. But, like, the keys wouldn't need to move. And if the keys moved, then you'd have to have something covering up the holes. Because that's the way you play the clarinet. And you, like, the reed blowing, like, that makes the clarinet sound. So you can't just, like, move the buttons and the clarinet makes sounds. You'd have to have, like, probably a speaker on the inside playing the sounds. So, I thought that was inaccurate.
Yes, yeah, very, 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 very inaccurate. Also, the conductor's name is Sir Jerk-a-Lot.
What? That's horrible.
The one that has spinach in his teeth.
Sir Jerk-a-Lot?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I guess he's a jerk quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, tying it into Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Grandpa Joe is in this movie, and he's a spy too.
Oh yeah, David Kelly. No wait.
Yeah, David Kelly. Yes,
yeah?
David Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah, David Kelly.
I thought his name was Treble.
Wait, what is it?
I thought it's Trival. Trival. I thought she was calling him Treble, like a treble clef.
That would have been so much better.
Trival.
So
what the heck?
That's the one rewrite. That and the clarinet. Those are the two rewrites we'll bring to this movie.
There we go.
And then the first movie we'll just completely rewrite to be something different.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be the setup for this. It's like part 1, part 2. That's like just the setup for this movie. Like, and then there could be a third one years later, and then that'll be the end of the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Or, more original content. But nah, we don't want that.
Yeah, no, nobody pays for that.
That's total sarcasm, by the way. Please make original content. It's one of those movies where it's art that just goes beyond words, like Lost Highway or Sleepwalkers, or
okay, all right. I don't know about that.
It just goes beyond words, man.
No. We have words. We have spoken the words.
A lot of words.
And this movie exists. Show it to your kids.
Yeah, show it to your kids. I'm going to show it to my kids for sure. So, anyway, what did you watch this week?
Okay, I watched a lot. Well, kind of. I watched a lot of, like, halfway of things, but I started a lot.
Was it because you didn't like them, or you fell asleep, or a third reason?
Yes.
Some other third thing?
Okay, so we left off last week with The Invisible Man, right?
Yeah. The Dark Universe.
Right. So then next I watched Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which is based on a play, which I didn't really... I realized it, but I didn't really take into consideration what that would mean as a film.
Mm-hmm.
And it means that they're in the same room for 2.5 hours, and they're just having monologue after monologue after monologue. And so I stopped about halfway. I fast forwarded for some, and then I played it again, and I was like, okay, I can't get behind it. It was amazing performances, but I just didn't really like what they were talking about, or like the whole story. It just didn't really engage me. So I stopped. And then I watched Mank. This is also, so Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is nominated for a few Oscars, as is Mank. And that's on Netflix. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is also on Netflix. Mank is on Netflix. It's about Herman Mankiewicz, who wrote
Citizen Kane.
Thank you. He's played by Gary Oldman, who does a great job. There's also great performances in that. And I enjoyed that movie overall.
Mm-hmm.
God, Amanda Seyfried, she is so gorgeous in that movie. She looks fake. Like she's...
All right, I'm looking it up.
Oh my goodness. She looks like a Barbie. I want her hair. Like, she's just amazing.
Wow.
She did really well. There was like a lot of things I didn't connect with, like a lot of the names of old Hollywood things and stuff that I probably should know, but I don't. And then it got really political towards the end. I was like, oh God, why? And I was like, why can't we just watch a good old? Oh, it was like styled in like the old timey classic movie style. So it was in black and white, and like the music was very old style.
Yeah.
And it was really good in that sense, but the content at the end started to get more political and more relevant to today, and I was like, oh.
You wanted escapism.
Yeah, I finished it and I enjoyed it overall. Then I watched Mad Max, the first one.
Ooh.
1979.
Mel Gibson.
It didn't make any sense to me, and I didn't like it.
What do you think of Fury Road?
I like Fury Road. So that was my thing. I was like, I want to watch Fury Road again, but I want to see the context. So I was like, all these are on HBO Max, except for Mad Max. The first one is on Prime. So I watched that one on Prime.
Okay.
And then the Mad Max 2 and Thunderdome are on HBO. So I'm going to watch that next. I also watched Mad Max 2. So that one was better. Yeah, it was better than the first one. Like, the first Mad Max was not what you would expect at all for a Mad Max. It wasn't at all, like, post-apocalyptic. It was just kind of about, like, this motorcycle gang who was out to get Mad Max's wife. And then the second one was much more, like, rogue people making moderations on their cars and everything, and, like, dressing crazy and having more rogue-like gangs and things like that. So that one was more interesting to me. I also watched Bridesmaids. Amazing. Rewatched that. Then I got about halfway through Blade Runner 2049 with Noah before we had to go to bed, but it wasn't as good as I remembered. I thought it was kind of slow this time, and I was having trouble remembering the plot and getting into the plot, so it was a little different this time, but still very exciting to watch and listen to. It's a beautiful movie.
Oh God, yeah.
So then today, my therapist, actually it's funny because I told her about our podcast, and she's like, actually I do that a lot. I recommend movies and books for people to watch and read and stuff, and I was like, that's awesome. So today she recommended I watch the movie Sliding Doors from 1998 with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Mm-hmm.
She is a girl in London who she makes one thing happens to her at the beginning, and then it splits off into two different storylines. One is if like she had gotten on that subway, and one as if she had not gotten on the subway.
Ooh.
And it goes through the entire storyline of both like weird fate things. So it kind of fits into my favorite category of slice of life with a little bit of magic.
Is it easy to follow?
Yeah, it is, because they give her like a haircut in one of the timelines, so you can kind of remember what happens in that timeline. It's kind of hard at some points, but it's easy enough. Probably about as easy as Little Women.
Okay. Okay, cool.
But yeah, it was good. I think you would like it.
I'm curious about it now.
It was free on Vudu.
Nice. Was there a lot of ads?
There weren't as many as Rubber. There were only
God.
maybe 4.
I think the amount of ads is what killed me with Rubber, because I'm like, I can't stand the ads. There's way too many. And then as soon as that you know how that story ends. We've covered that. Because that was an entire episode. If you want to hear the ending of that not very exciting story, just go to Rubber, or go to episode session 34, which is Rubber, or just assume by the tone of my voice what happened.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all I watched. I watched a lot this week, I guess.
Awesome.
What did you watch?
So I watched the animated Batman Superman movie, which I had never seen before. Ironically, there's a Superman standalone animated movie, a Batman vs. Superman, and a Justice League. So that's the animated Snyderverse, and like the actual real-life Snyder trilogy, I saw the Batman Superman movie first. So who knows? But it was good. It's set in the TV series continuity for the two animated series, so they don't really give backstory for the characters, but you don't need it because it's Batman and Superman. Like I've seen their backstories tens of hundreds of times. Many times to be more accurate, not hyperbolic. I've seen both their backstories more than enough times. So it was a solid fun time. It's not very long. It was like it's like just over an hour, so it's really short. But yeah, it was enjoyable. Although one thing that mystifies me is that I looked it up on eBay because the VHS says it's 90 minutes, but the DVD says it's 60 something minutes, and that's the version I saw. So I don't know if they put another episode on the end of it, or if it's just like a typo or some kind of miscommunication. But I wonder why the VHS is apparently longer than the DVD. I watched Batman The Dark Knight Returns parts 1 and 2. Actually, I watched part 1 and half of part 2. I've heard these are very good. I didn't like them. I thought the story was interesting, but I couldn't really get into it. It was okay, and the animation style I really didn't care for, and they're both short. They're each like 75 minutes long. So I watched part 1 and was like, I want to watch part 2 because I've heard it's like really good. And I got halfway through and I'm like, I'm done with this. Aww. So I took a break from Batman. I'll go back because there's a few Batman movies I want to watch. So I'm hoping I'll go back and watch those. But I'm like, I want to get to my other 2-part movie. So I said to Maddie a couple weeks ago, and I've been hinting at it on the podcast, I want to watch more young adult movies. And what I mean is movies based on young adult books from like 2011 to 2017, because that's when it was a huge deal, and I didn't see a lot of them when I was in high school. And I'm like, you know what? I want to go back on this period of probably not very good movies and just see if there's any gems. So I'm starting with the series.
I love it.
So I rewatched the first 2 Hunger Games, like I said before. I like the first one. I love the second one. It's probably already the peak of all these YA movies because Catching Fire is great. And I'm going to watch the other series. But ever since 2013, when I saw Catching Fire in theaters, I've wanted to watch Mockingjay. And I finally watched both parts of Mockingjay one night, like as if it was like the Snyder Cut. I didn't plan on watching both parts, but I'm like, yeah, I'll do it because part 1 hooked me, and then the ending is a cliffhanger, and I'm like, I just want to finish it. So I watched it in one big go. So I viewed it as like one big 4-hour movie. I think it could have been a single like 3-hour movie and it would have been fine. I wish it was one movie, but the fact that they split it into 2 movies didn't bother me as much as I thought it would, because part 1 is a lot more of, it's like Deathly Hallows, where part 1 is a lot more of the slow kind of build up, and it's building to something. And I actually really dug it because it was all about, the strategic planning, and it was political, but it wasn't political. It was enough where I'm like, oh, this is kind of like this, but it wasn't like overwhelmingly where I'm like, it's not fun to watch this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Also, Jennifer Lawrence's performance in all these movies is so freaking good. Like she's so good in these movies. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the final 2 movies. I definitely felt the pacing a little bit, but also because I watched them back to back as like one long movie. But the ending is really good, and I'm glad I finally saw it. And it's a movie series I really like, and I'll probably go back to.
Awesome.
What I loved about part 2 especially, but about the whole series, is that it's like you can have these traumatic experiences and you can have this trauma, and it can still be something in your life that has shaped you and changed you and made you who you are. But then the movies still end with like this little hopeful like seed that can sprout and grow into something that can make your life more positive, even though you've endured, heavy suffering and loss. And that just really spoke to me. I'm like, man, that's so good. I love it.
I love it. Yeah.
It has a really like sweet ending to it. Yeah. Also, kind of spoilers, but Maddie, you said you've seen all of them but the last one, right?
I think so.
So after watching these, Gale and Peeta are so much better love interests than Jacob and Edward.
Oh my god.
Because they don't bitch at each other. They don't act like 15-year-old boys. They act like men.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Gale had no shot because Peeta's like the sweetest and I love him. But even though Gale knows he's the third wheel and even though he still wants to be with Katniss with Jennifer Lawrence, he isn't like a whiny little werewolf bitch about it. He's like respectful of her and he's like, you know, if you want to make sure Peeta's safe and if she's the one you want to be with, then you know, then that's your choice. You know, I will be disappointed, but I'll respect that. And it's actually really sad what happens. Like, he doesn't die, but what happens with him is really sad. But just his outlook on it, and also on Peeta's side, like it's not even a concern for him that she's with somebody else because he's got his other stuff he's dealing with.
Yeah.
So one last thing I wanted to say about this was that I wrote down a list of all the 2 or 3 part movies that were made because I want to illustrate something. And I guess I could wait until I watch the Divergent movies, but I just wanted to say it now just because I have it, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So the list of 2-part movies, major changes, are Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, then Breaking Dawn. Both of those I think are totally valid because the books are long as crap. So I think it makes sense. Also because so much happens. I think Mockingjay would work as a movie and a half, so I think that's why it could have been 3 hours instead of 4, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So Deathly Hallows, Breaking Dawn, Dark Knight Returns, you know, and then The Hobbit was going to be 1 movie, and then 2, and then 3. And I've heard those
absolutely
are very much
ridiculous.
Like, yeah, that's what I've heard. And then Mockingjay, and one thing, all those productions, and also later on, Infinity War and Endgame, which was going to be a Part 1, Part 2, that was the original title. All of these productions have one thing, have something in common. They all filmed their 2 movies in one production and then cut them into 2 for after editing. Like I mean, they knew it was going to be 2 movies, but they filmed it as one long production.
Yeah.
And then comes along Allegiant and Ascendant, where the second one doesn't happen because they literally saw what everybody else was doing, and they stood on the shoulders of geniuses before they even knew what they had. You know, Jeff Goldblum, Ian Malcolm, wonderful character, wonderful speech. Stood on the shoulders of geniuses, and then they're like, oh, we can make our last one 2 parts. And then they only filmed the first part and not the second part, and then they didn't call it Part 1, Part 2, because, you know, they wanted to make it a different title, so people didn't know, and people probably didn't care at that point. So, they didn't film them as... They were going to film them as 2 productions. Then the first movie... didn't do well financially, so then it didn't make its money back at all. So they're like, okay, we're gonna cut the budget and make it a TV movie. Oh, we're not gonna do it as a TV movie. We're gonna do it as a TV series. Oh wait, Shailene Woodley's not with it anymore. Okay, we're just gonna not do it.
So crazy! I can't believe it.
It's hilarious, and it's like I'm sure there's genuine fans of those movies out there that are really, you know, it's really unfortunate for them.
Yeah. To have, like, your favorite series not finished.
And just one more movie. Like, it'd be different if there were, like, 5, but there was just one more.
Uh-huh.
You know?
And they could have probably just made it into the one movie at the end and, like, would have been fine.
And then The Maze Runner, what they did was they made the 3rd book 1 movie.
Wow, crazy.
Isn't this the craziest thing you've ever heard?
Well, yeah, and the series of unfortunate events made 3 books into 1 movie.
Yeah, and then they made 2 episodes a book, except for the last one. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Like, if your book is rule of thumb, if your book is like 350 pages, make it 1 movie. If it's 750 pages, then maybe make it 2 movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so every movie got a higher budget because the last one did better. And since the 3rd one had such a high budget and it didn't make its money back, they're like, oh yeah, so the solution is to cut back budgets on the 4th one. It's like, the solution was just to make 3 movies and call it a that.
Yeah, for real.
Freaking idiot.
Oh my gosh.
So Cody Banks
wow,
2.
Yeah, it's been a good week to watch movies, I tell ya. All right, so our prescription next week is called Columbus. It was recommended to us by our dear friend, and it's on Amazon Prime.
We're not going to talk about her. Nope, not at all.
And so join us next week to watch Columbus. It's going to be great, probably, because duh.
Because we trust our friends' recommendations.
Yes.
I know it's very slice of life, so I'm curious about that.
Okay, awesome. I'm very excited.
Or that's what I remember Judy saying. I don't know.
I can see the first 2 cast members listed, and I love Haley Lou Richardson, so.
Oh, yeah, isn't she, I've seen her in something.
And she's in Split.
Yeah. Okay, so Judy says Columbus is a great movie for... Oh, sorry, we're not supposed to talk about her. But Judy said Columbus is a great movie for a quiet, rainy day. She said, and then that was a long time ago.
It's
wow,
supposed to rain
September.
tomorrow. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I can watch it.
So it's an indie version of Lost in Translation. That's what Judy says. Yes, it's supposed to rain tomorrow and tonight.
Yes. Perfect day to watch Columbus.
Or Twilight.
Or Twilight.
All right, yeah. So go home and watch Columbus.
Until next time. Keep
It's a giraffe.
Oh.